Okay, the time is 7:37. I will call this September 12th, 2016 meeting of the Snellville Mayor and City Council to order. First, we'll have the invocation, and today that will be by Reverend Trey Hildebrand from 12 Stone. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Let's pray. So, Father, again, we come. We thank you. Thank you for who you are, for your goodness, for your love. We thank you for moments like this. We ask that you would be in them, that you would give us grace, clarity, favor, not only for our mayor and the council, but just for our city, our community as a whole. We trust you with our future. We trust you with what you will continue to do, what you're building here in the lives of our people and the lives of the community at large. So again, we ask for you to be present in these moments. We ask for your wisdom and your decision making. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
And thank you, Reverend. And now Councilman Marmo will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have ceremonial matters. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and I have a proclamation number 2016-12. Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and the Amanda Riley Day in the city of Snellville. Whereas cancer is the leading cause of death by disease among U.S. children and is detected in nearly 15,000 of our country's young people each and every year. And whereas 1 in 5 of our nation's children loses his or her battle with cancer, a battle which impacts parents, grandparents, loved ones, friends, neighbors, and communities. And whereas all children deserve the chance to dream, discover, and realize their full potential. And whereas Amanda Riley is a kind, loving, and generous teenager who was a three-sport varsity athlete at Brookwood High School. And whereas Amanda was diagnosed with childhood cancer at the age of 16, and after a courageous fight for 405 days, she went home to live with Jesus on April 9th, 2010. And whereas during her lifetime, Amanda was a fighter, giving 100% to everything she did, and fighting cancer was no exception. And whereas Amanda's ever-present, beaming smile and tenacious spirit left an impression on her family, her friends, and the Brookwood community, and the city of Snellville. And whereas the Amanda Riley Foundation, a Snellville nonprofit, was founded by Amanda's parents, Barbara and Steve Riley, in Amanda's honor, to help bring a smile to kids battling cancer by making them and their families feel better and bringing a smile to their faces, even if only for a few minutes. And whereas September has been set aside as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month to increase awareness about the issue of childhood cancer, including the need for early detection, prompt treatment, new medications, continued research, and attention on the late-term effects of treatment on childhood cancer survivors. And whereas gold is the color representing childhood cancer, and the Rileys, the Amanda Riley Foundation, its supporters, and I, the mayor of Snellville, are passionate upon painting Snellville gold in Amanda's memory for those children and their families battling cancer, and in memory of every young person lost in childhood in hopes of brighter futures for young people everywhere. Therefore, I, Tom Witz, mayor of the city of Snellville, Georgia, where everybody is proud to be somebody, do hereby, with our city council and the citizens of Snellville, do proclaim September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Snellville. Be it further proclaimed that from this day forward, in honor of her courage, selflessness, and inspiration to other children, September 12th shall be known as Amanda Riley Day in the city of Snellville. I commend the Amanda Riley Foundation and Barbara and Steve Riley for their dedication to fighting childhood cancer and bringing smiles to kids with cancer. I encourage all of Snellville citizens to join together in a gold out and encourage each citizen to help bring a smile to the face of young persons fighting childhood cancer. Proclaimed this 12th day of September 2016, Tom Witz, Mayor, City of Snellville. I believe we have Steve and Barbara with us this evening. If you come up and receive it. Also, we have O.J. Green and Peyton, who's been here several years now. This is probably her third year to come and when we present this award. So Peyton and O.J., if you come down also. Thank you.
It's Amanda's day. Will do.
All right, let's get up there. Come on. Thank you, Peyton. Okay, we're on to the minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes of the August 16th specially called meeting and the August 22nd, 2016 regular scheduled meeting.
I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion of council? Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. The motion carries. Go to committee reports. David Manuel, Evermore CID.
The Evermore CID had no action items at the August meeting. They discussed the sewer update on the Evermore North Boulevard. They're doing some re-landscaping, so to speak, to try to get the sewer in before they put this bypass road in. We also discussed the 2017 SPLOSH initiatives and what council or board members like to see, and there was a landscape update. Apparently there's some issues with the landscape company that hasn't completed some of the work that they were supposed to, and that's been taken up, and it's going to hopefully be completed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. The September meeting has been canceled. It is being combined because there's no more action items at hand, and it will be combined with the October meeting, which will be October 26th.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of David? Okay. Downtown, the Development Authority of Snellville, Mr. Williams.
I have very little to report, but we're working on selling the old police department
since the last time I reported, we have asked for bids. We have one we are entertaining. We have made a price. He has made an offer. He's come up a little. We've come down a little. We're still meeting. We've met 3 times. We hope to meet again this week, and hopefully we'll do something by next meeting.
This is at the old police department.
Old Police Department, right.
That's good news.
Any questions?
Come back with a deal.
If you got anybody interested, let me know.
I will. You'll be the first I'll call. Urban Redevelopment Authority.
Good evening.
Good evening, Nick.
Since my last report, we've only had one agency meeting, which was in August, and our September meeting is this Thursday, September 15th at 4 o'clock here in City Hall. In November, we've scheduled our yearly planning session with the assistance of Walton EMC personnel, at which time we will be planning for 2017, and we will also be discussing our progress from last year's planning session. We are continuing our planning for the K-9 friendly initiative for the passive park on Oak Road. As the sidewalk project on Oak Road gets closer to completion, we will be having further discussions with Parks and Recreation and with the city manager concerning the best way to implement and budget for the water stations and cleanup areas at the passive park. Another project that we have brought up during our last meeting, and which is in the early stages of discussion, is a program similar to the Gwinnett Clean and Beautiful. We have seen there's a need to probably improve the appearance of our streets, parks, and other public areas. And our hope is to inspire local civic groups and community organizations, individuals, and businesses to volunteer their time and talents for these organizations to adopt an area near them or around in the city to help keep that area clean. Hopefully this will instill a pride of ownership of our city by its residents and hope to improve the appearance of our public areas. And that's my report for this evening. Any questions?
That's an excellent idea for you all. That's an excellent project. And can we go farther with that, Butch? And if we can get this works and help support them by, lots of times you'll see where they put signs up. This particular road is being managed by or, overseen by. Can we work with the URA that if they get that up and running, that we'll work with them and get signs on those streets too to let people know it's being done? Excuse me? Even within inside the city? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right, thank you.
Great initiative. Thank you,
Nick, before you run off, speaking of Gwinnett Clean and Beautiful, we're going to be at their function coming up the 27th, I believe, and we're going to have a table. So I think with that comment you just made and getting that initiative going, it might be a good opportunity if you can attend.
Well, my problem is I'm going to be over in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay, well, if you're not here,
But
maybe
I'll get one of our
maybe
members. We're gonna have a
somebody,
meeting on
if you
Thursday.
can work
So-
with Gay Johnson, because I think Gay is
Yes.
also probably involved in that.
Okay.
So just wanted to throw that out.
Sure, thank you very much.
Okay, that's the end of our committee reports. We have no public hearing. We do not have any on the consent agenda or under old business, so we go to new business. First one is my nomination and council's confirmation of Lisa Porter to the Youth Commission's Advisory Board. Ms. Linsky, you have put Ms. Porter's name forward?
Yes, sir, and she comes highly recommended. And I also wanted to note that I had the pleasure of meeting Ms. Porter at the city's Unity celebration that Bobby Howard helped to organize back in July.
Okay, then I will nominate Lisa Porter to the Youth Commission based on the recommendation of Councilwoman Linsky. To all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. Your appointment is confirmed. Consideration action of approval of the fiscal year 2016 budget amendments. Mr. Sanders?
Mayor and council, I'm asking for an amendment to last year's budget so we can complete the audit of the FY16 financial year. And that would be, the request is in the amount of a very specific amount, $511,999. That is the exact number number of dollars that we use to pay off the Wisteria property loan, which we did not know when we budgeted, when we adopted the FY16 budget, that it would be necessary to pay that loan off. We didn't know if we would still have the property. We didn't know what was going to happen. We knew it was due June 30th at the end of the fiscal year, and I'm asking for that number to be approved, that the budget would change by that amount, $511,999. The good news is, and these are not audited numbers, but even with that number in, it looks like the FY16 fiscal year, we will be somewhere approximately $250,000 in the black for last year's operating year. So I would ask you to approve that number.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve fiscal year 2016 budget amendment in the amount of $511,000 and $511,599.
I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion of council? Seeing none, I call the motion. All those in favor of approving the motion as read, please signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. The motion carries. Consideration and item C, consideration action on approval to proceed with a nuisance action against 2028 Englewood Way.
Good evening,
Chuck.
Mr. Mayor, Council. I'm here appearing on behalf of Jason Thompson, your Director of the Department of Planning and Development, regarding this property at 2028 Englewood Way in Snellville. There was previously issued official notices of violation. In particular, the grass in the front and backyards is 2 to 3 feet tall. The fences are damaged. There is garbage accumulating everywhere. The window screen's been pulled off, and there is actually a dead tree in the backyard that's in danger of falling. If I may, Mr. Mayor, I have a couple just representative photographs of that
Please.
property. That would be the front of the property. See if we can.
Somebody put a note on your mailbox.
And this is the back of the property. You see it's totally overgrown. It's our understanding that the lady that had owned the property has passed away, and that the Bank of America is the mortgagor on that, but they have not gone through the foreclosure process. Based on that, Mr. Mayor, the Department of Planning and Zoning is asking that this council authorize the city attorney to initiate the nuisance abatement procedures to get the property cleaned up for the health and safety of the neighborhood.
You've heard the instructions from the city attorney. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve action to proceed with nuisance action against 2028 Englewood Way.
I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion of council? Seeing none, I call the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. The motion carries. Item D, consideration and action on approval to proceed with a nuisance action against 1887 Town Place.
Mr. Mayor, similar to the last one, this is a property to which the city has issued official notices of violation to the property owner. In particular, this for being the accumulation of garbage and debris. The roof is, the gutters are falling down. There is garbage in many of the locations, including, I'll show pictures of some hazardous chemicals. And let me show those to you. This is in an open carport that is open. People can see from the street. And, Mr. Mayor, there's in front of the television, here's what appears to be hazardous chemicals.
You got it sideways.
See if we can turn this.
There we go.
There we go, sorry. There we go. Down at the bottom, there's that white container, appears to have chemicals. There is garbage accumulation on the porch. You can see there's televisions laying there, and the gutters, the gutters are falling down, and the roof is rotting. This yard, we believe the owner has not responded, although we believe it is still privately held by an individual living in Lawrenceville. And we would ask for authorization for the city attorney to again initiate the nuisance abatement process to clean up that property for the health and safety of the citizens of the city of Snellville.
Council's heard the recommendation of the city attorney. Do I have a motion?
Motion to authorize the city attorney to initiate the nuisance abatement process to clean up the property located at 1887 Town Place, Snellville, Georgia, 30078.
There's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion of council? Seeing none, I call the question. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. Resolution 2016-12, consideration and action on approval of resolution for lease supplement for purchase of city vehicles. Mr. Sanders.
Mr. Mayor, these are two items that were the two resolutions for using the lease pool to purchase city vehicles as well as a new dispatch console were items that were approved in FY17 budget. This is just the paperwork for following through with those purchases through the GMA lease pool. One is for the police, a new police dispatch console in the amount of $381,734, which will be reimbursed through the SDS agreement. And the vehicles total $190,433.80. I would ask your approval of these items that were budgeted in the FY17 budget.
Okay, since they're on the agenda as two separate resolutions, we'll have to vote on them separately.
The first one would be for the vehicles, and then the
Correct.
second one would be for the
Correct.
console.
So for consideration and action of approval of resolution to lease supplement for purchase of city vehicles, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the resolution for lease supplement for purchase of city vehicles in the amount of $190,433.80.
There's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion of council? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. The motion carries. Now I'll hear a motion for consideration and action on approval of resolution for lease supplement for purchase of police dispatch console. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution for the lease purchase of a police dispatch console in the amount of $381,334.
I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion of council? If I'm not mistaken, this gets completely reimbursed 100% by the county, correct? So it's $381,000 will be reimbursed. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I call the question. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. The motion carries. Last item of business on the agenda tonight is the confirmation of appointments of the Community Events Board. I'm going to do this as one nomination. The people who, and what's the reason we're doing this is because we've appointed people over a couple of separate meetings, and there's some people have left and some other people have come on. So just for the record, we're setting it out now, so everyone that's on that committee, that events board knows who they are. And my nominations are Kelly McAloon, Brian Arrington, Gay Johnson, Kathy Gargiulio, Lisa Plott, Tricia Rollins, Marcy Farris, Hope Mock, who is the representative from Eastside Medical Center, and Brittany Washington from the Arts Council. Those are my nominations. I'm asking them as a city council if they would confirm them. All those in favor of confirmation, please signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. Our current community event board is now set in ink, okay? All right, now we'll go to council reports. Mr. Marmol. No report from Mr. Marmol. Christie.
Proud to be a part of the recipient of the Mayor's Cup at South Gwinnett High School last Friday, a win over Brookwood High School with 14-7. It was a joy to be there with my fellow council members as well as my teachers and some of my students on the football field. We got some great pictures of the kids. They were really excited about it. I heard about it all week long. I also wanted to congratulate members of the Snellville Youth Commission for being selected to attend the Secretary of State Ambassador Program with Georgia Secretary of State Brian Kemp at Kennesaw State University last week. That was a great experience for them and leadership.
Mayor Pro Tem Bender.
No report.
Councilman Emanuel.
I was fortunate enough to be able to attend the Mayor's Cup, and it was really exciting to see how involved and exciting the kids were. You hear a lot of negatives about today's youth, and I almost got knocked down. They were so anxious to get to the cup. They weren't rude, they were excited. And it was just good to see that enthusiasm and just the devotion that they had to the game and to the school. And I would also like to recognize Ms. Annette Jackson, who is running for State Senate in District 55, and thank you for attending our meeting, and something to keep in mind for this November. And that.
How y'all doing? I hate to be predictable, but hey. Are you ready? We got pictures. I had the opportunity to be invited down with a joint venture with the Atlanta Falcons and the Mothers Against Drunk Driving with the Cop Cab. Early Saturday morning, we were down there. There's about 4,000 runners, and it was a great opportunity to get out there. And the amazement is always what the people see when they look at these cars. I had the opportunity to join our fellow car in Kennesaw. They had their car there as well, so it was a lot of fun. Just a couple of things they did a run and a walk, and it was a really fun time. And they finished on the 50-yard line inside the dome, which was pretty cool. I'd never actually been there. Probably be one of the only times, but it was pretty cool. And but it garners it starts a lot of conversation. There was a number of teenagers with their parents that came by, and it got the conversation started, so I was very happy about that. So appreciate the continued support of the car. Of course, if somebody's not going to come behind me and say it, we've got Public Safety Night coming up on the 27th, so I think Kathy's going to take care of that. So sometimes I sit up here and I'm somewhat in awe of what our city's been able to do based on the people that are in it. And it's really the people that make all the stuff happen, and it's just it's humbling sometimes to see it. But other cities are struggling sometimes with things that we've been fortunate to avoid. Just in the last 2 days, 2 other police officers have died in the line of duty. And I thought it was interesting that sometimes we see the law enforcement community, and you think, well, it's all the time somebody gets killed with a gun or a violent act. But Officer Tim Bracken from the Shelby, North Carolina Department, he was killed with gunshots, and he succumbed to his wounds. And Master Deputy Sheriff Brandon Collins from the Overland Park area in Kansas, Routine traffic stop. We've talked about this before. There's no such thing as a routine traffic stop. He had gotten back in his patrol car when a pickup truck struck it from behind, causing it to burst into flames. He was on the side of the road doing things. And the reason I bring these two up is because they're two very different scenarios. But here in Georgia, we have a thing called the move-over law. And if we don't start educating better or getting the attention or getting folks to move over as they pass our law enforcement personnel or any flashing light vehicle now that's included. We got our garbage trucks and a few other things. Those things are subject to happening. But the move over law is one of those things sometimes just kind of gets glossed over. So if you have the opportunity, you're driving in a car with somebody and you don't necessarily, you happen to run across a police car or a public safety car or a public service vehicle with flashing lights on, and you have the opportunity, please move over or slow down extremely to a slow speed. But, we hate to see any loss of life when it comes to our law enforcement. So it's just, it doesn't matter what they're doing. It could be as simple as getting out and talking to somebody on the side of the road, or what our Snellville police officer are accustomed to, getting out and changing tires. It could be that simple. So just always want to think about those guys. I appreciate the opportunity to be up here. I appreciate everybody spend some money in Snellville this week. Good. I want to also publicly thank Dennis Lawton for his service to our community. Dennis has moved over to the Grayson, the dark side, or whatever we want to call that. But Dennis, I want to publicly thank you for your continued support of our city and everything that you've done.
Okay, now for the mayor's report, very short and sweet. First of all, the Mayor's Cup was a blast, my first Mayor's Cup. So it was a blast to go over there and present the trophy to the winning team, and they were excited. It was a neat experience. I really enjoyed it. Look forward to doing it again next year. And also, Dennis, we're going to miss you around here. I hope you still show up for the meetings. We don't want to hear from you at the podium anymore, but you can still come to the meetings. As you know, we're always glad to hear from you. Okay, and that's all for my report. Public input, anyone to come up and speak to us?
Yes, as a matter of fact. Shut up. Kathy Emanuel, 1313 Temple Johnson Road. I left flyers at the back for Snellville Public Safety Night. David mentioned it. 2 weeks from tomorrow night, 5:30, 7:30, Town Green. I did make a list of everybody in the room, so if you're not there, I will be, taking roll. But please come out. It's really a good event. We have 50 booths, so we're going to have the green is going to be full. We have vehicles from Gwinnett County, emergency vehicles from Gwinnett County and Snellville, the police department. Your police department will be out there to answer any questions. So please come out to Snellville Public Safety Night. And again, I left flyers at the back of the room. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Gretchen Schultz, 2027 Tanglewood Drive, Snellville. I just wanted to be sure y'all know that on September 24th, after our last Snellville Farmers Market, we're having a vendor appreciation luncheon, and you should have all the council members, the city manager should have received an evite to that, and we would just love to have y'all there. These vendors have put in most of them like 6 hours a week for 18 weeks to bring a farmer's market to us. And we just want to show our appreciation for them. This has been a hot summer for us. We've only had 2 markets where it's been below 90 degrees. And the volunteers and the vendors have really had a tough time with the heat this year. And we're so appreciative of our vendors for what they do, because we couldn't have a farmer's market without them. Melvin Everson will be there to give the invocation. So we'd love to have all of you attend and show appreciation to our vendors. And that'll be right immediately following the last farmer's market. It's being catered by Summit Chase Country Club, which is one of our platinum sponsors for the market. So please mark that on your calendar and try to attend if you can. Thank you.
And Gretchen, congratulations to you and to all of you who, I know that you made strides to make some changes this year over and above the green, and that you've seen the rewards of that, and I know that you've been much happier with the results of the market this year than you were at the end of the season last year.
We have been.
So congratulations, and it's nice to know all your hard work, paid off for you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Annette Davis Jackson, and I tell you, every time that I come to the city council meeting, and this is my second time, there is such a great atmosphere. Can you just clap for the atmosphere? It doesn't have to be a lot of people, but I really love the atmosphere. I tell you, as soon as I walked into the door, really, honestly, it was like utopia. I'm running for state senate in District 55, where you live, and I'll tell you, there are 3 cities. Snellville is leading the way. Grayson is leading the way too. Also, Loganville is leading the way. We have unincorporated Lilburn, we have unincorporated Mountain Park, we have Stone Mountain, and we have Lithonia. And I tell you, voting is so very important. It is so very important. And I know that all of you guys know it. And we have to get this message out to every single person in Snellville. So this is what I'm going to do. The next time that you have a city council meeting, I'm going to make sure that every single chair is filled. I promise you, with citizens from Snellville.
I'll hold you to that.
Okay, hold me to it. Hold me to it. How many chairs do you have in here, Mayor?
144.
144? Honestly. Okay, so all of those chairs in your next meeting will be filled because you guys are doing such a great job with your market. I came to the prayer vigil, and I'll tell you, that was the best prayer vigil that I have ever been to. I hope that you put that on the docket at least quarterly because we do need to pray. And I thank you for being here, the Amanda Riley Foundation. I love it. The last foundation that I attended was Brian McCann. He has also a foundation for children with cancer. And that's so very important that we do everything that we can to eat right, take care of ourselves because we're a blessing to this earth. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Everson. Good evening, sir.
Mayor and Council, Melvin Everson, 1725 Winding Creek Circle. We are now members SNAP. Thank you, Ms. Tricia Rollins. September the 24th, the farmers market. I want y'all to be there as they close out. I want you to be there because that's my birthday. Have a good day.
Okay. I believe that concludes the business of this council for this evening. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion is a second. All those in favor? It's unanimous, folks. Have a good night. Thank you for coming.